I'd like to call the meeting to order. This meeting is being recorded. I would ask if there's anyone else recording this meeting. Seeing none, if you'd please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. We have some special guests this evening. Senator Moore is likely on his way, and we have Representative Paul Frost here to speak to us tonight. Welcome, Mr. Frost.
Thank you.
You're on.
All right. I'm going to try to read from my phone here. Forgot to print it out. Well, thank you very much. I know this is something that Senator Moore set up, and I trust he'll be here. He'll be here soon. And but since we're fresh off the House budget, I'll give you a little bit of highlights of what we did. And I know you already did the town meeting last night, and it was quite a lively one there for a while. And and obviously the budget could still be changing. I mean, we still have the Senate. We'll be doing their version of the state budget, which I'm sure Senator Moore will get into in a few weeks. And they have to work out the two differences between the House and the Senate budget. Then it goes to the governor for his review, to which then he can make amendments and vetoes. And then because it is an even year, all roll call votes on which all vetoes need a roll call vote must happen by no later than July 31st. Of 2018, so pretty much there'll be a lot of activity in July on how things will go. As far as local aid goes, which I think is probably the most important topic that we have for our cities and towns, it looks promising. As you saw from the governor's House 2 budget, he did put in a significant increase towards Chapter 70. And the House in their budget, which we did last week, and we debated for the House budget for 4 days, and that number came out even higher than the governor's proposal, which, if I have my numbers all down right here, would be allotting Auburn just over $11 million total, which is an increase of nearly $988,000 from what fiscal year 2018. Unrestricted local aid also saw a bit of an increase by about $59,000, just a little shy of 60. And Chapter 70 also, the House did add some more funds in for the special education circuit breaker. Next to Chapter 70, that tends to be a very hot topic by our local communities to try to address those issues. I personally have supported and continue to support trying to get us to the full 75% reimbursement rate, which is what the law says we should be doing. We are shy of that, but we did see an increase in a step towards that, which is important and is good. And we all know the challenge with special education. As you know, the special education circuit breaker is claim-based. It's not need-based. So obviously, any given year it can change drastically based on the needs of a particular student or students that particular school year. So we know that's challenging. We know that's difficult, and certainly those children need to be serviced. They need to be educated. They need to be helped. But at the same time, it's that balancing act with the rest of the student population to make sure that they're getting a top quality education as well, and that we're we're not underfunding them. So I know that debate will continue. I don't know what the Senate's going to do, what their plans are in the next few weeks to take it up, if they'll be close to our numbers or if they'll go higher than our numbers. And again, I think Senator Moore might have a little more insight on that when he arrives. But I think that's really the gist of it. I mean, we did see an increase overall in the state budget. Revenues were up. Things are looking good. I mean, there was some caution there for a little bit that some of the revenue increases we were seeing early in the calendar year may have been folks reacting to the federal tax changes, and so people were doing things earlier than they normally would have, and so we needed to make sure that was, was this sustainable revenue increases, or is this just a one-shot deal? But between the House, the Senate, and I think the governor, they're feeling good about it. So far, so good. I would imagine the governor will have some vetoes. I don't believe that he will touch Chapter 70 in those areas. And the other big hot topic during last week during the budget debate, though it doesn't necessarily impact here, but it does impact other areas, and that's where money does go for education, and that is regional school transportation is another hot one that a lot of schools, and I know it does affect vocational schools too, but it is something that, there's only so much money in the pie, and even education-wise, you have different needs within the education community, if you will. Regional schools are looking for different things than maybe schools that are solely based in the one community. So it is challenging, and everybody is looking for help and more aid, and try to get to where promises were once made that we would be at certain rates and so forth, where we'd be at certain reimbursement rates and so forth, and, to finally get stay and keep at those numbers. But overall, I think it was a good budget. I voted for it. And I think, again, I think it did a lot for local aid. And, as I've said before to you folks and others, I think local aid is the most important service that we can do as a legislature to provide back. Every single person within a community uses their local services more than they use, for the most part, any other service. There are exceptions to that, obviously. But for the most part, most people in this community of Auburn are using the roads, they're using the schools, they're using the police, they're using the fire, the library, the senior center, what have you. That's stuff that they rely on every day. And that's why I think the investment in local aid, in education, in local education is so important, because that's what people are counting on the most. More than, and again, more than state and federal, again, with some exceptions, more than state and federal aid. And I think that as long as we keep that progress going, I think that'll be very positive. So with that, that's my report from the budget last week, and I know we shared that information as well. And, hopefully you'll have, I'm not sure what you budgeted in the budget, which number you used. I know the House number was relatively fresh, but, only a few weeks old and was just finalized last week. But hopefully that'll be a good issue to have if you have a few more dollars than maybe expecting a few months ago.
Excellent. Thank you. Any comments or questions, Mr. Frost?
I just want to say thank you for looking out for Auburn, because it seems like they're always quoting you, and it's great that we have you there to speak up for the town of Auburn, and thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
And through the chair, I certainly enjoy seeing you out and about at our local communities, at community events as well, because I think you're very accessible, and that shows. People have their trust in you, and we love the updates. So you're welcome anytime.
I thank you, and also I do want to recognize something else I did put in the House budget as an earmark. We did put $15,000. I put $15,000 into the budget to help out Auburn Youth and Family Services. I know they're a big partner for you folks, and you use them a lot and do a lot with them. And I think that's also a thing I did want to mention as well, that they'll, hopefully at the end of this budget process, we'll have another $15,000 to use towards programs, and I'm sure that's something that will benefit everybody, as far as the youth of Auburn goes and the students here in Auburn. And I also want to thank you all for your advocacy and your hard work. And the community as well. I honestly, and I'll say this, I don't think I've ever heard really a negative thing about the school committee, and sometimes that's not always true. Sometimes people will have negative comments or this. I don't think I have. I think you guys all passionately care for the kids of Auburn, for the school department, and you find a way to work together, and you find a way to do it in a fiscally responsible manner. And I think that's something that each and every one of you can be very, very proud of. And I know as a state rep, it makes my job a lot easier too when people aren't clamoring, to you saying, "Oh my goodness, an override or this or that." The fact that, we have a great education system, one of the tops in the country. We've got new school buildings. The community is behind education 100%, and we haven't had to do an operational 2.5 override in many, 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 many years, where other communities have struggled with that. And I think that to have the great quality education we have here in this community and to do so in a fiscally responsible manner is something, for the superintendent and all of you should be very, very proud of. And I think people like myself and others do notice that and do appreciate that you can do both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Page, did you have a comment?
Yes. I would like to say thank you too, Paul, because I've known you for many years and have done different projects with you, like the 4th of July and stuff like that, and you've always been very patriotic, very helpful with the school department, very helpful with a lot of funding with the town, and I just wanted to thank you. I will not be, as everybody knows, I will be leaving from the school committee this year and running for selectman, and hopefully when I get in there, we'll be doing good work that we've been doing already with your office. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.
I'll just follow up with some of the sentiments of my fellow members, and I'll also throw Mike Moore into the mix. And that's no, you guys are like teammates of ours. So that's what it feels like. I mean, you're from town, Mike. You're always there. You're at all of our events. You're there when we need you. It seems to me like we're one big team, and we certainly appreciate that. We always know that we can go to you when we need some help. So much appreciated, and I'm glad that you came tonight, Paul. Dr. Brunel, did you have anything before we?
Just to echo the comments, it's really wonderful to have two such accessible legislators that I can outreach for advocacy, and you've always been there, so thank you both very much.
And we know you're very busy because you usually slip in right under the wire, so we do appreciate it. All right, thank you so much.
All right, well, thank you very much, and look forward to another great year with you folks.
Great. Senator Moore? Good evening.
Thanks for having me. I think I'm probably going to be very short, seeing that Paul already went. Did he go over all the numbers?
Well, I gave all the House numbers. You can
I'll give all the Senate numbers.
give all the good news in the Senate. Go ahead.
Okay, so we haven't done the budget yet. But I can give you, hopefully this will provide some assurances for you. I have gotten commitments that the Senate will not go below the House Chapter 70 numbers, so that will be the baseline that you can use. And circuit breaker we should be fairly close, if not to the same funding as circuit breaker also. And are there any questions I can answer for you that we might be addressing? I don't know yet as far as the new employee benefits and fixed charges. The governor appropriated $24 million. The House went up another, which was 6%. The House went up 9%, another 3% to 9%. We haven't discussed that yet. We will be doing the budget May 20, starting the budget debate May 21st and 22nd. We'll caucus the 21st, and we'll go into debate the 22nd. The budget will be released on May 9th. If we're actually taking a page out of the House, usually we'll release the budget the week before, then go into budget debate. This year we're going to release the budget a week early, take a week in between to give people more time to go over the amendments and try to figure out what we're going to do, and then go back into budget debate for the end, for the last week of May. So is there anything I can answer for you?
Excellent. Any comments, questions for Senator Moore?
Just thank you. It sounds like everything is
Yeah.
right there and ready to go, and I can't wait to get all that money.
Actually, it's funny. This is the first year in, I think I'm going into my 10th year now. I'm finishing up my 9th. This is the first time at this point in the budget, or even going back to January, that I've been able to go out to the various boards of selectmen and school committees and say, we have a surplus. And as of January, it was about $800 million. A lot of that, there was some concern about people filing early in December because of all the tax cuts that were coming down from the federal government. But the and that we could see some lower revenue benchmarks being lower the next several months, but everything's held. So right now we're in a good situation. And hopefully all the good news will continue. So.
No, that's great. Thank you so much. It's much better when you come in here and you let us know that things are at least leveled out and we're not facing any cuts. So that's great, and I'm sure it feels good for you guys as well to be able to come in and say that. And again, we appreciate your support and the way that you represent us. I'm sure you have many other districts that you're taking care of, but again, we just feel like we're a little extra close to you, maybe because Paul's right here in town, and we know his children, and we know Paul very well, and we see him around at all the events, but we see you just as much. So again, it just feels like we're working as one big team, and we truly appreciate that.
No, and I thank you, because we wouldn't be able to advocate for you if you didn't keep in contact with us and communicate what you really need. So, thank you very much.
Always.
Thank you.
Brunel,
Thank
anything
you.
else?
No, just to echo, for both of you, really, the advocacy and support is tremendously appreciated in our students and direct beneficiaries, and that's what we're all here for, so thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
That was quick.
Absolutely. Have a great evening.
You too, thank you.
And we have some special recognitions this evening. We have one very special one.
Thanks.
Mike, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks, Paul, very much, thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good
Forget
to
about
see
the
you.
report card.
So we do have one special one, which involves Mr. Page, but we're going to put that one off until the end, because we want to keep that separate of our other affairs. Yeah, after the cameras are off. So
We gotta keep them working until
I will
the
turn.
very end here.
Exactly. I will turn the special recognitions, and Dr. Brunel, did you want to handle
Sure.
each of them?
Sure.
You sure?
I'm positive, yes.
Okay.
So first one, the art students, we have more who have been now this time with the Mass Congressional Art Competition. It was actually this past Saturday up at Wachusett. So I want to recognize Bridget Campbell, Kennedy Shalou, Rebecca Chamberlain, Marissa Gallant, Lindsay Gauthier, Obiamaka Ijuanawu, Cameron Coble, Sophia Mazzoni, and Arian White. Also want to give kudos to Lindsay Gauthier. So she actually has been accepted into this year's Art All-State Competition, which really is a very challenging, as shared with us by her teacher, Mrs. Halsdorf. So it's an intensive 2-day program. There's about 145 to 150 students who come with exceptional artistic talent. So really an exciting opportunity for them. And next meeting, I will share with you that we had a couple students whose artwork was accepted into the Marble Collection, which features really outstanding artwork of students in high school. So I'll share that with you next time. And the next one, certainly on a far more sad note, as you know, Beth Johnson, 67, recently lost her fight to pancreatic cancer. Beth was the school principal at Mary D. Stone. She had been a fine arts director in the district, and then post-retirement, she was a realtor for Emerson Realty and very much enjoyed doing that. She would share with me. So I do want to recognize and remember Beth with a moment of silence to share a bit about her personally. She leaves her former husband and lifelong friend, Dennis Wren, her parents, Stanley and Yvonne Dearden, predeceased her, as did her brother, William. She is survived by her sister, Margaret Spinner of Brunswick, her children, Jessica, Elizabeth, and Scott, as well as Scott's wife, Brooke, and their children, her grandchildren, Wyatt, Travis, John, Madison, and Kennedy. So please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you.
If I could just say something. I was at Mary D. Stone when Beth was hired as a brand-new music teacher for the town of Auburn. And right away, she was all gung-ho, and before we knew it, she had the 6th grade teachers helping her with a play. We had never done a play, but I don't know if she'd ever done a play, but we were all going to do a play, and it went off. And I mean, that enthusiasm that she had just never stopped. It just went and went and went. She was so enthusiastic, and I've loved her since I met her, and I'm going to miss her.
Wayne?
Yes, I known Beth very well over the years, her being principal and as a friend. And the thing that always got me is she was so energetic and she cared about our children in Auburn. I mean, it was unbelievable the things that she does with children and even parents and, you know, people in general. She has the most kindest heart. I mean, there hasn't been many people that I've who really come out and say that from my heart, saying that they were that good, but she was. She really, really was. She was just great. And I remember when, on the 4th of July, she'd come up at the field and just sing the Star Spangled Banner for us. And it was just such a great person, good friend.
Thank you for those comments.
And through the chair, I was personally moved at the wake. There was a line around the building, and the stories. I mean, you know, I was there probably for an hour and a half, just in line, because so many people had so many wonderful things to say. The stories, they were all different, and she's truly an amazing woman. And I think Auburn will have a bit of a void.
Yes.
Sure.
A life well lived.
Excellent. Thank you for those comments. I'll just be very brief. I had only met Beth a couple of times, but she sought me out at the couple of times that I did meet her, wanted to talk about education, told me that she was fully supportive of what I did, thought I was doing a nice job, and then I asked her about herself, and she was very humble about it, but the list went on of the things that she was able to accomplish in her career. And she was just a very outgoing and nice woman. And as you said, Dorothy, it was not only a testament of that at the wake, but everywhere in town. Everyone was talking about her after she was gone and how much she meant to the town. So, yeah, thank you for those kind words, and sorry for her family, and condolences to them. And she'll be greatly missed all around. And seeing no citizens to make comments, we will go right to our student representatives report. Ryan, are you ready?
I am.
All right.
So, the entire school community came back from April break. During that week, we all got rejuvenated and we came back ready to learn. This week that we're in right now, we're celebrating a kindness week, which is kind of like a school spirit week plus a theme. So Monday we had a Hawaiian Day, Tuesday we had Disney Day, today we had Blue and Yellow Day, which is why I'm still in my blue shirt. Tomorrow is Meme/Vine Day, which the school community will be really involved in, and Friday is College Day for the seniors and Auburn Day for the rest of the community. Also, the We the People Club just got back from DC last night. I heard they had quite a fun time getting their luggages home. Didn't get it home until almost midnight, I think. Also today, I know that the softball and baseball teams won today, and today also we had band and chorus had their field trip to New York for their Broadway matinee. Last week, honor roll letters were passed out, and upcoming events, really, we have the AP exams next week and the week after that, and prom is this Saturday. And finally, there's some construction right now in the front of the building working on some masonry.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. So I'll follow that up, Brian. Nice report, as always. With I've been working down there with my students from Bay Path, and I just want to compliment you and your classmates. Every time I walk through the building, you're all of you quiet, respectful, going about your business. For instance, today, Mr. Davis had to get a message out to the students at lunchtime just saying that there's construction outside, you won't be able to go outside. I didn't hear any boos, I didn't hear any hissing, I didn't hear anything. It was unbelievable. Not only that, but he didn't have to raise his voice much to get the attention. So you guys are doing wonderful things, and that's a testament to our teachers, our leadership team, but you as students, just very respectful young people, and we appreciate that, the way you represent us.
Thank you.
And thanks for that report, Ryan. And now, I would seek approval of the April 4th minutes.
I'll
I
make
have
a
a
motion to
motion?
approve the April 4th minutes.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote. And we move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I know that I have shared with you previously, we just wanted to make the public announcement that Mr. Greg Desto will serve as the new middle school principal effective July 1st. Greg has most recently been serving as superintendent of Dudley Charlton, but prior to that, from '04 to 2014, he was the principal of Dudley Middle School. Greg actually spent some time with us last week, meeting the leadership team, and then spent all afternoon yesterday over at Auburn Middle School. And I will tell you, all that I have heard from everybody, from teachers and from the members of the community, people are very excited. And I think that he and Mr. Carlson are going to make a dynamic duo. So look forward to him coming.
Excellent. Any comments, questions?
I was honored to be able to help with the selection process, and I'm really excited about what he's going to offer our kids, especially since George and I both have, and Jessica and I all have a sixth grader going in next year. So.
Yep, it's
Pretty
great that
exciting.
that our children are going to have him for the majority of their time at the middle school. But yeah, it was great being a part of that committee, and it's also great hearing all the testimonials after the fact. We knew when we interviewed Greg that there was something special there, but working out near that district, I work in Charlton, very close to Dudley Charlton School District, not in the same district, but everyone I talk to just says, wow, what a steal, we're going to be so sorry to see him go. I run into his former baseball players that he coached when they were playing Legion ball. Some of them are my colleagues. Some of them help me coach youth sports, and they all say the same thing. He's going to be a great motivator. He's going to be a great addition to our middle school, and I couldn't be any more excited about this.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
we look forward to his start date.
So the next item, with your permission, I'm going to actually share this with you. So as you know, we have a CPR AED team that has been meeting for much of this school year. It was just slightly over a year ago, it was May 10th, when Max had the issue up at Packagug Elementary School. So while that wasn't the sole driving force, but we have been having conversations around, it's great that we have AEDs accessible in our schools and municipal buildings, and we do have portable ones that we bring outside. But wouldn't it be great to have them at every field? So this is a video. I thank Mr. Jason Bergman and his TV production students have put this together. The CPR AED team, we served as editors and gave some guidance on what we wanted to see. But we'd like to share it with you, and then we're going to do a pretty wide public service announcement campaign. I'm actually going to turn off one of them, right? So you can get it, thing, say thing. Oh.
Oh, yep, I can do that.
Well,
Close those
Do
lights.
something else.
Okay.
You can multitask.
Yes.
so this actually is saying invalid parameters.
Is that enough, or do you want them all up?
Well, I need you over here because it's
Oh.
saying invalid parameters, actually.
Shades of last night.
Yes,
It's going on
exactly.
like a clock.
I don't know why, because it was working fine, but
So Ryan, you haven't come out to say hello to us.
Yes.
Oh, hi. Sorry.
No, I mean when you're at school, when we're working.
Oh, I haven't seen you
We'll
guys.
shut those
No?
off.
No,
You haven't been in that area, huh?
I haven't. I'm normally on the second and third floors for my classes. I'm only down in the bottom wing, one period a day down in the band wing, so other
Yeah.
half, and then lunch, obviously, yeah.
Oh, there was
We don't really get started until probably 8:30, and then we're out by 1:30, so, yeah, you probably wouldn't see us.
Yeah, you guys are doing a great job, though.
Thank you, appreciate that.
How many students do you have working with you, George?
We had 11 out this
priority
week.
in Auburn Public Schools and something that we pay careful attention to each day. Wouldn't it be amazing if that same level of safety was embraced across the entire Auburn community? What if, regardless of where someone was in town, there would be someone nearby to provide CPR or the AED until Auburn's amazing emergency personnel arrive? Our safety advisory team that includes representatives of the police, fire, and school departments, along with the building inspector, has been in place for over a decade, meeting regularly to make recommendations to ensure our buildings remain as safe as absolutely possible. Earlier this year, a CPR AED team was established, which includes representatives from all the youth athletic programs, as well as Through their collaborative efforts and unwavering commitment to maintaining the safest environments possible for all of Auburn's children, and by extension, the entire Auburn community, they have set a goal of placing an AED on all town and school fields, along with training of all youth coaches. In the spring of 2017, a medical emergency occurred at Packagug School. This student was previously undiagnosed medical condition. Due to the swift actions of many, to include our school nurse, who performed CPR after being alerted by caring staff members, Max's story has a happy ending. Special thanks go to the Auburn Fire and Police Departments for their immediate response to providing medical care that included the use of an AED. As with any incident that occurs, our goal is to learn from it. The CPR AED team has established the goal of providing CPR training to as many people in Auburn's community as possible, while also placing AEDs at each of the school and municipal fields. These AEDs will then provide an added measure of safety to all of Auburn's residents, young and old alike. Please join us in this effort.
So it was another ordinary day at Packagug School. You know, usually as a school nurse, it's pretty uneventful, lots of paperwork, until we got, I got a call over one of my radios that a child had fallen. I got out there, and when I saw Max, it wasn't just an ordinary fall. He was just motionless and just looked like a heap. And you could tell just by the way he was laying, it wasn't a good situation. You know, just as your training tells you to do, I looked at our guidance counselor and I said, please go call 911 right now. And another teacher stayed, but I asked her to go get my CPR mat because I knew we were going to have to give him CPR. But then he started gasping for air, and that's when we initiated CPR. From the records that we've gotten back from the fire department, they heard loud and clear that we were going to start CPR. And they said they dropped everything and just, every emergency vehicle in the area came to us.
Thank you for what you did and your quick reactions and everything. And
it still seems so surreal, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. It does. It does. That's what you usually think about when I received a phone call from the principal. I was thinking broken arm, broken leg, something happened. Never would have thought something like that happened.
You don't. You think you send your healthy child to school, and who would think they have an undiagnosed cardiac condition?
Numerous years ago, through the generosity of Dr. Arthur and Martha Pappas, automatic external defibrillators, AEDs, were purchased and placed in all school and municipal buildings. There is a trained CPR AED team in each Auburn school, including the school nurse, with all APS athletic coaches having likewise been trained in CPR and the use of an AED. In fact, there is an effort underway to train all members of the APS team, including teachers, support staff, and administrators. In addition, all of Auburn's middle schoolers have been trained in hands-only CPR earlier this year. At this May's Festival of the Arts, STEM and Wellness, high school students and teachers will train others in hands-only method. The AED training devices will also be available. We hope that you'll consider joining us there to be trained.
What would you do in that situation? Many bystanders may struggle to remember how they can help someone in the heat of the moment. However, the students you just saw reacted in the correct and timely manner to give their teacher the highest chance of survival. When their teacher, Mr. Bergman, suffered cardiac arrest, Sarah asked him if he was all right. Since Mr. Bergman did not answer, Hayden was prompted to tap him, ask if he was okay, and check to see if he was breathing. Once Hayden recognized this was an emergency, he instructed Damien to call 911 and told Sarah to get an AED. Damien called 911 and gave the dispatcher information regarding the emergency and their location. Once Hayden discovered that Mr. Bergman was unresponsive and not breathing, he knew to begin CPR. CPR stands for cardiopulmonary resuscitation. It is made up of two different skills, providing compressions and giving breaths. Hayden began to perform his first set of 30 compressions and 2 breaths. While he did this, Sarah rushed to find an AED. AEDs, or automated external defibrillators, are crucial when trying to help someone whose heart has fallen into an abnormal rhythm, because for every minute that there is a delay in defibrillation, the chance of survival decreases by 7 to 10%. When Sarah returned with the AED, Hayden removed it from the bag it was in and plugged in the pads to the machine. He then proceeded to stick the 2 pads on Mr. Bergman's chest and followed the instructions spoken by the AED. Once the shock was given to Mr. Bergman, the compressions and breaths were repeated. Hayden would continue this cycle until help from paramedics or someone with more advanced training arrives.
These organizations, along with the Auburn schools and the town of Auburn in general, are working hard to place an AED at all town and school fields. If you are interested in making a donation to this cause, please contact the superintendent's office and you will be put in touch with the donation subcommittee of the CPR AED team. Please call 508-832-7755 or contact us at aed-cpr@auburn.k12.ma.us. And the team thanks you in advance for your donations. The Auburn Fire Department regularly provides training on CPR and AED, so interested individuals can email or call to sign up at auburnfirec.town.auburn.ma.us or call 508-832-7800. Please join us this year at this May's Festival of the Arts, STEM, and Wellness, which will take place on May 10th at Auburn High School from 4 to 6 p.m. There will be free CPR AED trainings taking place. We hope that you'll consider being trained.
Get your CPR and AED certification and help save a life.
Get your CPR and AED training and help save a life.
And I do want to give credit, that final graphic there was created by Mr. Bill Wright, the graphic arts teacher at Auburn High School, along with his students. They had all put forward from one of his classes a number of logos, and the CPR AED team decided on the one that was ultimately selected and will now be adorning anything that we do place in the area. So we have placed an AED at the concession stand at Auburn High School. With the help of Darcy Cook, who's a member of the team. Joe Fahey actually did a test on, it's called an extreme unit, putting it in both a freezer and a sauna to be sure that it could withstand the extreme cold and hot, and it passed with flying colors. So it is up at the high school, and one will be placed at Pappas Field very soon. So we're making progress already.
Question, how's the fundraising coming?
So there is a, this is really this is the initial launch of this, and then it's going to go out through social media of all the youth organizations, town, and local cable. So we've estimated that we need approximately $22,000 to place them at 13 locations is what we've identified, to include the extreme cases, as they're called. So the subcommittee is Jeff Labonte and Darcy Cook. There may be others joining them, but they're leading that effort and have some good ideas and some good leads. So hope to get it moving. Our goal is to try and have them in place by the fall season if possible.
Awesome.
Great. Any other comments or questions?
Answer my question of the cost.
So right now, if someone wanted to donate, they have to wait, there's...
No, they actually could. So as that indicated, that he could either call our office or email us, and what we're actually going to do is take down information and give it to Darcy and Jeff, and then they'd be back in touch with any individual interested in donating.
Okay, thank you.
Great. What a great initiative that is.
The next item is R.H. White's safety poster contest. I think we had shared with you that they had gone in and done assemblies at Bryn Mawr and Packagug School. They held a poster contest in conjunction with those assemblies, and ice cream sundae parties were held at with their support in the following classrooms. So at Packagug, it was Mrs. Hakins, Mrs. Cherie, and Mrs. Lemire's class, and at Bryn Mawr, Mrs. Sandberg, Miss Wildgrube, and Mrs. Johnson's class. So the kids were excited, and really a nice collaboration with R.H. White, so we thank them for that. Another really wonderful initiative, we had a third grade student, Samantha Boria, who outreached Dr. Lopez there, who had learned in some media promotions that the hurricanes that had taken place had really ravaged St. Thomas, and not only that, but their libraries there. So she is leading an effort, and in the packet is actually a flyer that she has created, got kids' books that she's helping to, her goal is to help stock the library shelves in St. Thomas. So if anyone has library books, we're collecting them through Friday, May 4th. If anyone listening has ideas, they can certainly call Swanson Road Intermediate School and they'll tell them how to get them. But the goal is to send some books that maybe aren't as much loved or has been read enough here and send them to St. Thomas. So nice idea by Samantha.
Absolutely.
Another thing, and this is in direct connection with the video, the PSA that you just saw. So as we know, and we recognized, or you recognized, the fire department, first responders, as well as Mrs. Cashman, Mrs. Dio, and Mrs. Gaborio, who were really instrumental in the incident that took place last May. And Allie Rushak, who is a teacher up at Auburn High School, she actually nominated Carrie for the outstanding performance in immediate care in helping an unresponsive student. So they actually had an award ceremony today, and Carrie was named the Region 2 EMS Nurse of the Year. So it has been posted onto Facebook. She was recognized. It just happened to be today, but as we have all been saying to Carrie, you know, the work that our staff does, and certainly our nursing staff does in helping our students, and the story I shared with you last night with a young teacher giving the Heimlich to a student who was an obstructed airway. It really is about caring for kids all the time. So really kudos to Carrie, and the best of endings certainly that happened for that.
Congratulations to her. Absolutely. That's great.
The next item, so Christine Robbins is a teacher at our middle school, and there was an application process through WPI, their STEM Education Center, to seek ambassadors. Their job would be to help with the implementation. They'd bring some information back to our schools. And fortunate for us, Christine was named as an ambassador, so she'll work closely with Dr. Lozay. It's going to give some free trainings for us, and a great advocacy for the Auburn schools that she's out there in this leadership capacity. So kudos to her for doing that. And then this next item here, Massachusetts top school districts. Auburn was named, came in number 90 out of 340 school districts, and those good recognitions, or those positive recognitions, come as a result of the work that our staff does and the team does in total. So it was a nice segue. And then obviously, as Ryan does such a nice job reporting, and Mr. Scobie had shared, we really have just the best students in Auburn. And so Dr. Lozay and I were fortunate to be able to sign letters of congratulation for high honors and honors for our middle school and high school students. And I'm happy to report there were an awful lot of them, as indicated here, but really indicative of the hard work and commitment that our students give to their work on a daily basis. And then in the fall, although Mr. Page won't be with us in November for the MASC conference, they have a logo contest. This is actually the first time of which I've been made aware of it. So Christine McGrath, who works for MASS, shared this with us a couple of months ago. I shared it with Mr. Wright, and some of his independent study students came up with logo ideas. So these have been submitted, and we will find out at some point in the future whether these will be the logos adorning the front packets, but I think they all are certainly worthy ones, so hopefully one of them will be selected, which would be a nice
Good luck to them.
recognition.
Yeah. They are nice.
The Hanover, so 'tis the season for us to have scholarship announcements being made. This one is from the Hanover Scholarship. We'll actually be heading there on May 16th. Two students, May Wynn and Brenda Ta, both will receive that scholarship, and Hanover is extremely generous in the donations and the scholarships that they give. So look forward to celebrating that with those two very bright, very nice young ladies and their families at Hanover. And then finally, a letter from Mrs. Stanek to R.H. White. They had actually made a donation of $300 to Packagug School to enhance their classroom. So it is my recommendation that you accept that donation with gratitude.
I would entertain that motion.
I'll make a motion to accept with gratitude the $300 donation from R.H. White Construction Company to Packagug.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It is a vote.
Mr. Bouvier has included a memo to me in your packet. It's actually right behind your collaborative quarterly report, indicating that there are some pieces of technology that have been deemed obsolete. As he always does, they look to see if our technology department at the high school can use them. They've gone through all of that. These ones are basically broken or obsolete. So it is my recommendation that, as noted, we deem obsolete 10 printers, 40 computers, 25 monitors, and 2 televisions. As we've done in the past, CRT Electronics comes in. They do it at no cost. They remove the electronic equipment and make sure that there is no personally identifiable information on it at all.
I would entertain that motion.
I'll make the motion as recommended by Mr. Bouvier that we deem 10 printers, 40 computers, 25 monitors, and 2 televisions obsolete so they can be disposed of at no cost to the district.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. It is a vote.
In your packet is the third quarter report from the Southern Worcester County Educational Collaborative. It has a heavy emphasis on students and the progress that is being made. I'm very, very happy to share at our most recent board meeting that we are in a strong financial position, which is great. It was not the case just a couple of short years ago. So kudos to the director as well as all team members of the collaborative who provide much needed support to students who require that additional integration that they provide.
Thank you to them.
Do we need a motion?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
I was reading the next one. I would entertain that motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the SWCEC quarterly report for the period January to March 2018.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It is a vote.
In terms of staff recognitions, just last week was Administrative Assistance Day. The current school week is School Nutrition Staff Week, and next week is Teacher Appreciation Week. And as I've said early this evening, and I hope I say often, it really is a whole team effort that every member of our team contributes to the success of the district. So kudos to all of them, and I hope that they have some fun enjoying themselves in their recognition.
Okay.
And then finally, made some outreach, as I have in the past, to Auburn, families in Auburn who are eligible to send their children to our schools but are not currently doing so. And as indicated in here, the top 3 reasons being that it's really a family preference or tradition, the quality of instruction in their new school, and enrichment possibilities. So certainly as much as we offer in Auburn, our goal is always to maintain our commitment to continuous improvement. So we'll certainly look at these rates, these comments and data, but I think truly many of the comments, as you've noted in here, are really sharing positive things about the school as well.
Yep, definitely. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, we will now move on to Unfinished business. And the first item under unfinished business is the superintendent's evaluation. And the superintendent provided us with some lofty goals this year to support the evaluation that I'll be reading off now. And she either met or exceeded those goals, as she typically does. And they are in the categories of student learning, professional practice goals, district improvement goals, Standard 1 instructional leadership, management and operations, family and community engagement, and professional culture. Now, some of the specifics to the goals, I think if I'm going to be fairly brief this evening. We had a late evening last night at town meeting, and, you know, in an effort to get us out of here at a reasonable hour, I'll be fairly brief. But at the same time, if anyone needs a follow-up, I'm sure they could reach out to the district office and find out more specifics about the goals that Dr. Brunel, again, either met or exceeded this year. So I am happy to read off the scores of the categories that I just spoke of. And we have student learning goals. Dr. Brunel scored a 20 out of 20, which is not too bad. Professional practice goals, a 20 out of 20. District improvement goals, 20 out of 20. And for the Department of Ed evaluation instrument, for each of the 4 standards based on the superintendent's self-assessment noted in the bold, highlighted in yellow, as well as the supporting comments, please provide a score of a possible 10, with 10 being the highest possible score. Under Standard 1, instructional leadership, Dr. Brunel scored a 10 out of 10. Management and operations, Dr. Brunel scored a 10 out of 10. So far, so good. Family and community engagement, Dr. Brunel's specialty, she scored a 10 out of 10. And professional culture, Dr. Brunel scored a 10 out of 10. And her score is 100 out of 100. So I don't think we could ask for much more. And I was happy to find that I had known that mine was going to be perfect, and had I known that all 5 of them were, we could have skipped the whole process and just said, she's the real deal. But no, I'm honored to read off these scores. I'm honored to have Dr. Brunel as the superintendent, and I think we will, I'll open that up to some comments, and then you can say a few words. But let me just clarify, as far as the specifics of the goals, the specifics of the criteria, if anyone at home wants to look into that, we could certainly provide them with at least a summary of some of the accomplishments. But for the purpose of moving things along, and sort of, we have some celebrations this evening, or sadness, I don't know what you want to call it. I'm torn. But yeah, I'll open up to comments regarding Dr. Brunel's evaluation.
Sure, I'll start. I just thank you for doing what you do so well, and, you know, taking even the smallest questions or concerns seriously. And, you know, I don't think that you sleep, but, you know, you manage to make every person that walks through your door feel special and, you know, important. And I feel like you take each child's situation on an individual basis, but you somehow link it to this strategic plan, and it always ends up making Auburn better as a whole. And I personally thank you. I consider you a mentor, someone to look up to, and I don't know, we're just very lucky to have you. So
thank you.
Please stay forever.
Thank you.
Very well said. Any other comments?
I'm still thinking.
You're still thinking?
I'm still thinking.
Well,
because you know me, I always have to tell a story.
well, Dr. Brunel, I'd like to thank you for all the things you do for our children in the town of Auburn and your leadership team. I mean, you guys just do such a great job, and just to have you here leading them, I think it's one of the best school districts we have in Massachusetts. And that involves everybody. Everybody on the team makes it work. But you're there to make sure that it keeps working. And I've gone to you with complaints. I've gone to it many times. They were taken care of. If they weren't taken care of, it was because it was unreasonable, but you always put your foot forward for the children and parents. If there's a concern, you will address it, whether you can fix it or you can't fix it, but you'll get back to them to let them know that, you know, they're not going to be left behind. And I think you do that with every child in our district. You don't leave any of them behind. And I want to thank you. And then I would say you were the best superintendent out of the 12 years I've been here that we ever had. And I hope you keep up doing the great job that you're doing with the school committee and everybody else.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Thank you.
Well said, Wayne. Gail, are you still gathering your thoughts? or
No,
are you-
I can now tell my story.
Okay, tell your story.
It's too late.
Well, you know, I have a child that teaches in another school district, and she needed some advice from a union leader the other day. So I dug out all my retired AEA booklets and notes and information and started going through it. And as I went through it, I kept thinking, boy, were we lucky to get Dr. Brunel. Because we had correspondence back and forth in our various roles, and everything was polite and respectful, and we worked out issues, and there was none of the confrontation that my daughter was seeing in her school system. And I kept saying, boy, we're so lucky in Auburn that everyone cares about making it better, not winning a point. And I just thank you for that. And I mean, I worked for a lot of superintendents, and you are the best.
Thank you.
And I thank you.
Thank you.
Well said, Gail. Well, I will echo the sentiments of my fellow committee members and say the same thing. When you talk about the way Dr. Brunel responds to various items, she certainly has an open door policy. And a lot of people say that they have an open door policy, and then they close the door when you're saying something that they don't want to say. So I've heard a lot about her open door policy from members of this board. Residents of the town are able to reach her. She actually hears what they have to say. She's a critical thinker, so it's not in one ear and out the other, and I'm going to brush this off. She looks into everything. She follows up on everything. I especially enjoy the professional relationship that I have with her. We're able to bounce ideas off of one another. I know that she knows that she has my full support and our full support as a board, and likewise, I know that she supports me. So it's just been a great year. It's been one of those years where we didn't have a whole lot going on. We didn't have construction all over the place. So, but again, that doesn't slow her down. She's still everywhere. She's still at every event, and this is just not testimony from me, but from residents, from parents. I hear this across the board, from leadership, from teachers. Everyone in town values what we have in Dr. Brunel. So I will echo Wayne's sentiments when he says the best superintendent that he's had, also the best superintendent that I've had in my professional life. So yeah, just I can't say enough. Well-deserved scores. I can't see where anyone could find a flaw. Not, maybe next year, but not this year. So, thank you for that, and congratulations on great evaluation.
Thank you. Through the chair, I'm humbled by your scores and by your comments, and truly, you know, as I try to say, and I hope that I conveyed in my written evaluation or self-evaluation, and it's words that I mean sincerely, that really is about working together with people. I think we have to set the bar high. You know, when I hear reports from Ryan or see the accomplishments of our kids, it makes the long days certainly worthwhile. And, you know, when I was here as a principal, I remember having 5 superintendents in the 5 years that I was here. And the reason that I applied when the Auburn position came open was because I knew the kids were phenomenal. Every family that I had worked with was tremendously supportive. The staff was dedicated and wanted to do the right things, and but for some instability that was beyond their control, quite honestly. So I really never looked back, and it's hard to believe that this is actually ending my 10th year as superintendent. It has truly flown by, quite honestly, but it's work that I love, And if my husband doesn't believe it, I'm going to share with him a segment of this report tonight, although he's quite good about supporting it too. So, but thank you, truly. I mean it sincerely. Sincerely,
That's
thank
great.
you.
Very well said. And I turn it back over to you.
Okay, thank you. So in terms of upcoming events, excuse me, no, I'm jumping ahead of myself.
Yep.
So we do have, as shared with you previously, we have a couple of contracts for you to officially approve. So the ABA contract, and I'm happy to report that both contracts, the ABA and the school nurses contract, both groups were especially cooperative. It was a really positive back and forth. I thank Mrs. Worsbicky and Dr. Lozay for working with me and meeting with them. The representatives that they sent forward were really positive and anxious to be flexible. So both contracts actually represent over a 3-year period. There's a 1.5%, 1.5%, 2% COLA. We did add steps in some of those years, particularly those people who we have had for fairly longevity in these positions, and really the experience, our kids certainly benefit from that. So it is my recommendation that you approve each of those contracts, and I have copies here that we can then pass around for your signatures as we continue the meeting.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the ABA contract.
I'll make a motion to approve and sign the ABA Assistant's new contract for fiscal year 2019, fiscal year 2020, and fiscal year 2021.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote. I would entertain a motion to approve the school nurses contract.
I'll make a motion to approve and sign the school nurses' new contract for fiscal year 2019, fiscal year 2020, and fiscal year 2021.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote. And I'll just say, again, just briefly, if that's not a testament to the professionalism in the district, the fact that the contracts are not adversarial, the negotiations, I should say, are not adversarial as they are in many cases throughout many districts. So that says something about the back and forth respect that everyone has for one another in our district. That's, again,
Agreed.
thank you so much. And thanks for the nurses, and thanks for the ABAs for their willingness to bargain. Moving on.
And then finally, the bus applications for 2018-2019. We had, as of April 26th, 422 applications. We actually had a fairly good influx on Tuesday, yesterday, because I think people thought it was a May 1st deadline. So we did get a number of them to submit applications. So we've got 1 month, just under 1 month left, with the deadline being June 1st. So we'll continue to send out reminders, but we are starting to collect them now.
Question, through the chair. When they send in the application, do they have to send in any money with it?
Through the chair, they do. They make their payment of $100 at the time, and if a family decides after the fact that they don't need the bus, we prorate the payment. If they don't use the bus at all, they get the full $100 back. People can even come to central office. We have a kiosk out front where they can pay by credit card and through the Unipay system online as well.
So they have to pay for the whole bus fee when they sign up?
They do. They do have to,
And the bus
yes.
fee is $100?
Correct.
Oh.
Yes, it is. Correct.
Okay. And we now move on to new business.
So under upcoming events, as Ryan reported, the We the People team did arrive back in safely yesterday. I happened to see Caitlin Norwood, one of the students, earlier this afternoon, and the luggage arrived back around midnight, thanks to Mr. Hanfield, Mr. Kennard, and Mr. Nidzwicki, who went down to Providence to retrieve it. We had our Chris Herron presentations on Monday evening for parents and yesterday for students. We had a half-day PD. As you know, we had a great annual town meeting, and thanks to town meeting members and the residents of Auburn for their continued support of the Auburn Public Schools. The Rocket Fest Music Festival will take place Friday, and the Festival of the Arts is on May 10th, with elections on the 15th, and then the reorganization meeting on the 16th.
And I would just like to add one item to that. There's been a buzz around the high school, since I've been spending some time there this week, about the upcoming Hudson versus Auburn softball and baseball, and it's going to be Thursday night. So tomorrow night under the lights, Hudson versus Auburn baseball and softball should be quite an evening.
Nice.
Thank you for that. And now, everyone's favorite time of the evening, Cecilia.
Thank you.
You don't make her feel bad.
No, that's a compliment.
It's when you start questioning it, that's when it happens.
Thank you. I've included in your packet a year-to-date budget report dated April 26, 2018. Included with this was a budget transfer request with transfers within the same series for your information and transfers between the different series, which I'd like to get your approval on.
I'll make a motion to approve the transfers between the series as presented by the business manager.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote.
Okay, thank you. I've also included in your packet a copy of the fiscal year 2017 end-of-the-year audit report. I've worked very closely with our auditor, and all amendments have been filed with the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, so we are in compliance with all audit requirements, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none.
Okay, thank you. And lastly, we had previously reported to you that we had 3 students who were displaced from the hurricane in Puerto Rico being educated in the Auburn Public School District. The Department of Elementary and Secondary Education is making available funding to support districts who are educating the displaced students. And at this time, Auburn has been awarded the amount of $2,257 for the period of October 2nd through March 1st. So those are additional monies to add to our appropriations.
Great.
Okay. And I thank you very much. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. And job descriptions?
Yes, so we made a slight modification to the assistant principal job description, so it is my recommendation that you approve it as amended, please.
I would entertain that motion. Has everyone had an opportunity to have a look at that document?
I'll make a motion to approve the updated job description for assistant principal.
I'll second that.
Any questions, comments? Seeing none.
Seems fine.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote. And we now move on to policies.
So as we've been doing, this is the last full batch of policies with recommendations from MASC. Noted in red are the changes that we propose. As you'll note on some of these, they don't have any proposed changes. We've reviewed them and are in agreement with them and recommend them to you as amended and noted.
And I would entertain that motion. Would
I'll
entertain
make
the
a
motion.
motion to approve IHBG, IHBGR, IHCA, IIAE, IJOA, IJOC, IL, IMB, and IMD as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote. And now, we move on to that special part of the evening that we were talking about earlier. Mr. Wayne Page has been on the school committee for 12 years now, and now he is going to look at some other opportunities as he campaigns for the Board of Selectmen. But it's been a long run for sure. I'm not sure that many in this town or the history of it could say that they served for 12 years on any one committee, so that's an accomplishment. And before I present Wayne with the gift, we will open it up to some commentary. So I will, as we always do, start down the end with Ms. Kaufman.
All right. So, Wayne, I'm very sad to see you go. If no one can ever say you weren't passionate about your beliefs and what you felt like, and I just thank you for your contribution. You will be missed.
Thank you.
Well said. Gail?
She needs 10 minutes.
I'm thinking when I first met you, and I was like, oh, what did the town do? Because you had opinions, and that was it. But then I met you, and then we talked, and then I realized that you were willing to, you had opinions, but you were willing to listen. You were willing to take in all kinds of information, and we came to a great understanding, and it has been my pleasure to have you on the school committee and my pleasure to work with you. And I'm very glad you got elected.
Thank you.
Well said, Gail.
Yep.
Very well said. I will say the same. This is my end of my 6th year on the committee, so we've been working together for 6 years. Ups, downs, bumps in the road, highs, lows, but I have to say that the past, I don't know, if not several months, maybe the past year, maybe 2 years, things have really leveled out. We came to an understanding that we're here for the children. I know we always were, but we were able to come together as a board, and that has a lot to do with Wayne being able to, overcome some of the barriers or things that may have troubled him about some of the things that happen on the committee, or some of the things that he may find that I don't do well, but in the end, we worked it all out, and that was what was best for the children. That's why we're here. So thank you for that, and thank you for your time on the board with me and before me. Appreciate that. Dr. Brunel, would you like to?
I would. So Wayne has been on the school committee since I have been here, my entire tenure. And I think some of the adjectives and words that have already been expressed are ones that I would use as well. And Wayne, you have always been a passionate advocate, excuse me, for the students and making sure that all students were taken care of, those who maybe didn't need as much support from others, and those who needed support and guidance from them. So, the leadership team, I can tell you, is likewise appreciative of the support that you have given. It really is a team effort, and it's been great having you on the team, and we certainly wish you the best. And your gift of time has been one that's been appreciated, so thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank all of you.
You're welcome, and here is your gift.
I know I made a big statement about a month and a half ago, but Gail wasn't here, and I would like to say the same thing to Gail, that she's always been great to me, and she's somebody you can go to and talk to and get answers and help. And I know my daughter Sarah loves her.
Yeah.
And she's just been a great person
I enjoyed that.
as far as the school committee and out of the school committee. And as I said before, everybody else on the school committee, yes, George is absolutely right. We had our ups and downs, but we did get it together for the children of this town. And if we didn't have the leadership and the administration and the teachers and all of our employees working the way they do, and I said this a little while ago, I still think we got the best school system in Massachusetts. Because it just seems like everybody that's involved cares so much about the kids. They don't just put it out there, they put it out there with their hearts too. And that's what makes a system. And I'd like to thank you all again.
Thank you. Well said, Wayne. And
So
hopefully...
should I open this or leave it, or what? What do you want me to do?
Sure.
Why don't you open it up? I want to see all the stuff come flying out of the box at you.
Yeah, you probably put it in there. Oh, cool.
Yeah. Open up the
I'm
gift.
just starting to water up here a little bit.
Well, it's been a long run.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're supposed to sign some contracts, right?
Yes, contracts are here, yeah.
Not me, you gotta say.
Oh, you're gonna sign them too. You're not getting off the hook today. Here, I'll let you sign that. Stop.
You can still get our pound of flesh, Wayne.
Yeah.
It's a clock. Taking it down already. Okay, opens up that way.
Very nice.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. So
Yeah,
again,
nice.
thank you for your service. Much appreciated.
Well, you guys just keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Or you'll come back and
Yeah,
let
I'll
us
come
know.
back and get
And we do need an executive session.
Thank you.
We do not?
No.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Hi, Adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.